boys and girls, it's Miss Linda. How are you today? And welcome to, no, it's not story time today, that's Tuesday. Welcome to our July Take and Make. What's a take and make? Well, hopefully you've had a chance to stop by the library and take away one of our craft kits. Our craft kits have everything included that you'll need to make today's project. If you haven't had a chance yet, you could stop by and see if there are any left, or just pay good attention to the pieces we're using. There's nothing here that's that out of the ordinary that you probably couldn't find it around your house or maybe in the dollar store. So, are you ready for today's July Take and Make? Here's what it is. It is string art. Very simple. Don't need too much for string art, but I think it looks pretty cool. One woman's opinion, of course. And some of you who are super crafty or super creative probably have a lot better ideas than this one. And if you do, that's perfectly fine. This is just an example to get people started if they haven't really worked with it before. So we're going to set this aside, and let's take out of your Take and Make kit what you'll need. You'll need a piece of cardboard. Now, some of them are yellow, some are red, some are orange, some are green, some are blue, some are purple. Doesn't matter, they'll all work. The other thing you need is a pencil with a nice sharp point. Can't overemphasize this one enough, everybody, because the pencil is going to make the holes that your brass fasteners will go into. Brass fasteners? What's a brass fastener? Brass fasteners are what hold your yarn in place. From the front, they simply look like a little brass nail head. In fact, you might even hear people call them brads. I do from time to time. But if you turn this over, look at those little prongs you see back here. When you split those prongs apart, that's what helps hold your yarn in place. But you'd never know that from the front. Okay, everybody, let's get started. Please get out your cardboard and get out a pencil. Now, to make the project I made here, you need to make 12 holes in your cardboard using the point of your pencil. So let's do that, all in a line going across. Spread them apart, it'll look a little bit nicer. So let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Oh, it's always the last one. Okay, now we've got 12 holes here. Just want to remind you that if you don't want to do 12, you could do 10. If you want to do 8, it all works. The only thing I noticed is people could see the pattern a little bit better if you had 12. But you are free to do it however you would like. Now you've made those 12 holes. You're now going to go and make a second line. Pretty much line it up, if you can, opposite from the hole you've already punched through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. All right, so I've got 12 holes at the top. I've got 12 holes at the bottom. How many holes do I have in total? Oh, I heard my math whiz in the back say so. Yep, 24. So you have these little brass fasteners. You're going to be using them. Here's what I'd like you to do. Go to your top or your bottom and put one brass fastener standing in the first slot. Don't put it all the way down. If you look here, let me see if I can get this for you guys. If you get it here, see? You can still see it standing up a little bit, okay? And you're going to put a brass fastener standing up just like that in every other hole on that line. I'll show you. Every other hole. So it should be brass fastener, open hole, brass fastener, open hole. Okay, when you get done, you should have 6. Okay, because you put them in holes number 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11, or your even numbered holes. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go to the other line of holes you made and put them in the even numbers. For example, you'll skip putting a brass fastener in there, but you'll put it in the second hole. You'll skip putting one in the third, and you'll put it in the fourth hole. You'll skip putting it in the fifth, but you'll put it in the sixth. You'll skip putting it in the seventh, but you'll put it in the eighth. You'll skip putting it in the ninth, but you'll put it in the 10th. And you'll skip putting it in the 11th, and you'll put it in the 12th. So there you go. You have 12 brass fasteners there, and they're all standing up. You haven't pushed any of them all the way through. Now, you probably have 2 colors of yarn. That's the way this usually looks pretty nice if you have 2 different ones. Here's what I want you to do. Take one of your colors and start making a knot. Now, if you're not great at making knots, hopefully there's an adult in the house. They'll give you a hand. Tell them they only have to make 4 knots in this whole thing. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to back this up a little bit so you can see. You're going to take that knot and slip it over your first brad. See, just like that. Then press it down. And pull the prongs apart in the back. Okay, see how it looks on the back? That's holding it in place. All right, now what you're going to do, you're going to go down to the next brass fastener and just loop around. You don't have to tie a knot. Just loop around and separate those prongs in the back. Press it down and separate. There you go. Now you're going to go to the next one in your top line. Loop it around, press it down, and separate the prongs. Loop it around, press it down, and separate the prongs. If you need to hold it with one finger while you're pressing from underneath, perfectly fine. No problems. Go back to the top, loop it around, press it down, separate the prongs. The next one on the bottom, loop it around, press it down, separate those prongs. We're halfway through already with our first color. See what it looks like? Now, if you want to look in the back, and I have to do this carefully so all my prongs don't fall out, but there you go. See the prongs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you count in the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you know you're doing it right. Okay. Loop around. Press it down. Separate the prongs. I'll go down the bottom. Loop it around. Press it down. Oh, wait, Miss Linda did it wrong. There's always somebody messing up. This time it's me. Loop it around. There you go. Press it down. Separate the prongs. Let's do that. Okay, that holds it in place. You don't want to forget to separate them and press it, because then they could all come undone. Then you've done all your work for nothing. You don't want that. So, loop it around. Press it down. Separate the prongs on the back. There we go. Loop it around. Press it down. Separate the prongs in the back. Okay. Loop it around. Ah, see? They come out even on me, folks. All right, so put that one back. You don't want to be too tight, because that can happen. So, loop it around. Press it down. Spread the prongs on the back and loop it around. Press it down. Spread the prongs on the back. Now, boys and girls, I can hear you going already. Hey, Miss Linda, you got an awfully long tail there. You're right. We don't need that awfully long tail. What you do, now that you have it in place, sort of, raise that last one just a little bit, and this time, make a knot. Now, as I said, if you're not great at making knots, just find an adult in the house who can help you out with it. I'm sure they won't mind. Okay, I'm going to do that. And what we're going to do, the other thing that's helpful to have, and I should have mentioned this, and I'm sorry, is to take your scissors and cut the long tail off. Okay? Cut your long tail off. Don't worry, we won't leave these tails here forever. I promise. All right, so now you're halfway done. You'll know you're doing it right if you still have open holes between each of your nail heads. See? So you know you're on track. Now, what we're going to do is we're now going to take our little brass fasteners and push them in just so far, just like we did before. See how they're standing up a little bit? We're going to do that for the remaining holes. Take your time. There are no races to win in this. See how they're all standing up? I want you to see how they're all standing up. Okay, then we're going to go to the other side. We're going to do that. When you get done with all of this, we'll talk about what to do with those tails. Okay. So here you are, just like the other side, they're standing up, see? I find it easier to have to start with the one at the bottom, okay? And just as we did before, we need a knot. It's time to make another knot. Hopefully, those of you who aren't great with knots just yet can find an adult handy. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to loop it around. Loop it around that little brad, around that brass fastener. Press it down. Spread the prongs apart. we're going to go to the next one. Loop it around, press it down, spread the prongs apart. It's the same thing as we did with your other color thread. We're just doing this now with a different color thread. And instead of the odd numbered holes, we're doing it in even ones. So loop it around. Oh, Miss Linda went the wrong way. Loop it around, press it down, spread the prongs apart. Okay, here we go. Loop it around, press it down, and spread the prongs apart. Loop it around, press it down, spread the prongs apart. Now let's see this one. I'm having a hard time with this one. Are you having a hard time with any of yours? Remember, take your time. Okay. Here we go with this one. Up. Yeah, don't race because sometimes they get a little too knotted. But here we go. Loop it around. Press it down. Spread the prongs apart. And now I have to retrieve the one that fell out on me. Here it is. But I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to loop it down. Loop it around. Press it down. Spread the prongs apart. Loop it around. Press it down. Spread the prongs apart. Loop it around. Oh, went the wrong direction. That'll teach me. See? Grown-ups make mistakes. Believe me. And there's nothing wrong with making a mistake as long as you realize what you did and can fix it. Loop it around. Press it down. Spread the prongs apart. Loop it around. Press it down. Spread the prongs apart. And if you have to turn it over to look, that's perfectly fine too. In fact, if you look at mine, look at all those prongs in the back. Loop it around. Loop it around. Press it down. Prongs apart. Loop it around. And now, this is where you're going to knot again. Okay? So, whoop. You're going to knot, make a knot. And put that little prong. Make your knot. Okay. Make your knot. Nice and tight. Nice and tight. Press it down. You're now in your last one. And spread those prongs apart. All right. Now, boys and girls, we're going to cut our extra. And look, we've got some string art. To make it look even nicer, trim your tails. Don't go close, but not completely off. Okay, because you definitely don't want them coming undone. You've done all the work. So boys and girls, here you have string art, our July take and make. If you've enjoyed making this, I would love to hear about it. And I'd be really happy if you could send us a photo of your string art. We'd love to see it. Until then, our next string art project isn't really string art, but it's still using yarn. In August, we're going to make a yarn octopus. You don't want to miss that. Bye, everyone. See you then.